Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on CrossFit Garage, where we are trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So thanks to Levi again, I'm getting more advice. Hey Dad, put the camera somewhere better. So now I have it over the microphone, which we'll see how that goes. He's like, you use the hands a lot, you should let people see that. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how not to die. So I'm not sure, I have done a Facebook live feed back in 2020, and I said a certain word of a certain disease that was floating around. And within 5 minutes, that video got taken off. And I didn't get banned, but the video got taken down. So I'm going to not say that word, even though it's going to come up a lot. I'm going to preface it like this. That disease, I know it's not a disease, but I'm going to call it that so I don't get flagged by any of the word police. But that particular disease is something to certainly be considered inside of your health. But there's more to it than just that. And I'm going to go through these things, how not to die early, and some things that we do in my family that I'm going to say are maybe unique and odd and weird, but I have found them to be super effective. And you may be grossed out by one or two of them, so I don't know. But it works and it's cheap. Again, I'm going to start this off by saying that doctors don't know I exist. They have confirmation bias. Their bias is everybody is sick because when people come in, they're sick, so they know everybody's sick. Everybody has a doctor. I don't have a primary doctor. I don't go see a doctor. I saw a doctor to get an MRI on my knee, and they said, you're fine. And it's been, I don't know, maybe 7 years, and I really am doing pretty good with my knee. I never had surgery. I'd love to go back in there and see what it's like, but because I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, and due to the affordable healthcare, I've got really horrible healthcare. So going to pay for an MRI basically means I pay for the MRI. And when you pay for something, you tend not to go unless you really need to. So I know my family over in England, they go do they get a free, well, it's not free, you pay for it somewhere, but they have a very more socialized healthcare and they can go and do whatever, except when it's something that really needs to be done. So they will actually prioritize, like, hey, you're 60 and you need new kidneys. They're like, it's too late, whatever. No good. So if you're the person who's 60 and you're like, I need new kidneys, you go somewhere else because you can pay for that. Anyway, this podcast, this episode is going to be dive into the things you can do to prevent the top 10 things the CDC says is the cause of death, and how to live that better life. So the easy answer is, it's funny. So I actually was doing the research. I thought, you know what? I'm going to take some of this data, dump it into ChatGPT, and then let it compile an answer for me because I have confirmation bias. I think the answer is, hey, eat healthy and exercise. I think that's the answer. So I took the CDC stuff, stuck it into ChatGPT, and said, give me the answers based on, I'll get into it, but commonalities and which for the first one is like heart disease. Like, what do you do to avoid or prevent heart disease? And it said, hey, do these things. And then it was cancer, do these things. Then it was some diseasey thing that happened in 2020 that may be coming back around, Anyway, I did that for 10 of the things, and I said, take all that, lump it together, summarize it, and tell me what are the top 3 things that occur in all of them that would give you basically the biggest bang for the buck. So I'll go over that too. The other thing I want to kind of go over is I know that disease is coming back around, and people are like, oh no. And I was at Publix this morning buying some gear for my race coming up, and the girl had on a mask. And I don't listen to the news, so if it's not on a podcast somewhere, then I'm missing it. But I did catch on one of them that they are talking about, hey, there are some more cases, and it's not a big deal, or it can be a big deal. And I want to throw out what it was like in Woodstock, Georgia for me. Now, I know this wasn't the same for everybody, but in general, Woodstock, and then me and the people around me, what it was like and what we did. And just because they don't really let you know what other places were doing and what they were like. So, yes, I am sorry if you had somebody pass away in any of these things. I do joke a lot. My backup mode for tension and conflict is to make a joke, and I am sorry. You'll have to blame the bullies back in the 7th and 8th grade that took my lunch money that helped me find humor as a defense mechanism. I will not tell your mama jokes because that just makes the bullies mad, but I do use humor way too often to deflect. And yeah, it's probably a bad thing. As a matter of fact, what I should probably do. Hold on, Jamie. I'm going to hook you up right here. So Jamie Thomas has just opened her counseling center, Fox Oak Counseling, and let's see. I'm gonna have her on to talk about this, but she has a website. Can you believe that? And it's called foxoakcounseling.com. So she used the name in the web address. That's beautiful, right? So she's in Marietta and she does online. And oh man, this website's awesome. I hadn't looked at it yet. She sent it to me. Ooh, she's got her personal beliefs on there. Yes, you do. If you align with this, then yeah, use her, talk to her. This is good stuff. Anyway, I should probably talk to you. Well, you should never hire your friend to be your counselor because that gets weird. But yeah, so I should probably figure out why I deflect humor. Not only is it my normal fun mode, but it's also my backup mode, which makes it super confusing. You know, am I in the backup scenario where I'm a little nervous, or is it my normal scenario? So let me see if I can get a little more sunlight. Oh, that's too much sunlight. Let me turn this light up a little bit better. Oh, maybe too much? I don't know. I'm still working on the lighting in this thing. Anyway, so we're going to cover those things. It should be interesting for you. I think you're going to walk away with some good information. So I'm going to give you the spoiler right up front because I hate it when people like wait until like, oh, you have to get 50 minutes into it or somewhere and then give you the information. So the weird thing that we do that has been super effective for our health is an enema. And I'm going to explain that. I know you're like, that is not what I expected, Andy. Yeah, I know. And I did not expect to find myself there. How old is Olivia? 21? So 20 years ago or 21 years ago, I did not expect that to ever be on my tongue. That's weird. That word to ever be uttered in my realm of my life. I didn't even know what that was. So some of you may not, and we're going to talk about it and what it can do for you and the cheapness and the solution that it brings. Yes, it's super disgusting, but I mean, hey, if it works, it works. So I hate it when somebody sells something and the one thing it's supposed to do is the thing that it does not do. So you buy I don't know, let's say you buy like this Ridge wallet. I really like this. This is a real Ridge wallet. I paid like $80 for the titanium covered Ridge wallet. And they're like, hey, you cannot bump and steal the RFID tagging or whatever out of your credit cards because it's got titanium. And then somebody does. They're not. But I'm saying they tell you that's what it won't let you do. And then if it does it, you're like, damn it. The one thing you said it would do besides hold all my little wallety bits in one little thing, it doesn't do it. So I hate it when that happens. So I'm going to tell you how that works. And then I'm also going to go ahead and tell you right now the secret of success, right? What was it? Let's see. Where is that? I got to find the right tab. Oh, yeah. It's on this computer or this monitor. I have two monitors, one here and one here. This one is the one you can see. This is the one that I'm reading some of my notes off of because I listen. And people said, Andy, you have too many tangents. So I try to write stuff down, and yeah, I still get off track. All right, so I asked. So actually, let me back that up. I took the. I just went in and did a search and said, "Hey, tell me." Ooh, I have that word up there. I should have. Leading causes of deaths in senior citizens. Yeah, so it's. Hopefully, they don't slay me for that. Anyway, so I'm on the CDC site. I just did a Google search or a Brave search, pulled up some Google, and directed me to the CDC. I took the CDC stuff, threw it in there. And let's see, where's the top? This one. So like the death and mortality rates, and said it is for the USA. But I'm sure it's probably similar. Well, I bet you potable water is probably up there on other, if it's worldwide. But anyway, so I took this, threw it into ChatGPT, and said, hey, what would you tell me? That is a good way to prevent these things because I just didn't want to Google it all. I like it does the Googling for me and it gives me some prompts and some bullet points. I'm like, okay, great. So all the bullet points are up there. I asked it a few other questions. It gave me answers that I would probably say as well. Some things I was like, I don't know, but I didn't want to have my own bias. And let me scroll to, let's see if I can grab this and drop it over so you can see it. Yes, you can. So it says, I said, hey, review the data. Which 3 steps occur most often in the prevention of each of these health issues? So the first one is maintain a healthy weight. Second is eat a balanced diet. And third is exercise regularly. So it didn't say take a drug. It didn't say, go to the doctor and get all these fluids. It didn't say, measure your blood work every month. It gave you just like the basic recommendation, which is, hey, be active, eat smart, and, basically keep that same body composition or a healthy body weight, right? So weirdly, that's what we do here at CrossFit Garage. So the answer to life, the universe, and everything is, I'm glad some of you said it, it's 42. But in this case, the answer to getting out of the top 10 ways to die is basically just go join a CrossFit gym. So for like $200 a month, you'll be on track to live for a very long time and live well. If you have money, you can make sure you have money. Remember, it's fitness, food, and finances. So, okay. So there's the bulk of everything I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to give you some of the detailed points. I'm going to go through this. If this is a YouTube as well as an audio podcast, audio podcast, so you can go either way and listen to it. If you want to see some of this stuff, then you have to go to the YouTube channel. That's Andy McCann on YouTube, or Andy McCann 42 maybe. And if you're on YouTube and you're thinking, hey, I'd just like to listen to this, then if you go to any of your podcast services and type in CrossFit Garage, because that is currently still the name of the podcast, because that is our gym, it'll come up here. One day I'll change the name, or I'll have a better name, a more interesting name, or I don't know, maybe it's Health in Your Garage. I don't know. I'm partial to CrossFit Garage, since that's where I work out, and I've had this business for quite some time. Anyway, alrighty then. I do want to say this. If the answer is 42 and join a CrossFit gym, here at our gym, we have on our website, if you just clicked on Get Started, we basically ask, instead of saying we work with everyone, because we do not, we try to narrow it down based on this right here, and I'm pointing to my brain. So your brain and your heart. So we have, are we a right fit for each other? Because, man, there's nothing worse than, there's a lot of things worse. So this is annoying when you try to join a gym or go to a place and you realize that you guys don't share the same beliefs, right? Which I love in Jamie's, on her website, she said, my personal beliefs, right? That's awesome. Good on you. Tell people what you stand for. If they don't align, then I don't know. Although I will say sometimes it's not so great when you have that confirmation bias. So if everybody's saying the same sort of thing you're saying, then nobody says enema. And we should consider the enema. Actually, I should put that into ChatGPT and see if it's any of value. I'm going to tell you what we've used it for, and how the kids have gone to school by threat of enema. Dad, I'm sick. Okay. So it'll be interesting, I promise you. But all right, so are we right for each other? So question number 1, our ideal member is a happy, humble, helpful, and desires to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. Does that sound like you? Right off the bat, right? Am I happy, humble, and helpful? No. Well, man, you are not going to enjoy the people that we're bringing to the gym, because that's who we're attracting. Are you looking to be healthy and fit now? Like, I want to start that process, but I also have that long-term view. In my 90s, I want to be healthy and fit. I want to live into my 90s, which according to the CDC says you're probably not going to because of these things. But if we're fighting it, then maybe we will, right? Okay, so question number 2. We double down into coaching, mentoring, and accountability. Does this make you smile? So if you're thinking, I hate it when people coach me, mentor me, or keep me accountable to anything. Well, we're not a gym for you. Don't come here. So when we text you, hey, we didn't see you in 3 days, and you're like, you guys suck. You keep holding me accountable to the money I'm spending to come to your gym and get coaching and be mentored. I hate that. Well, don't join if you don't want people to keep you accountable. Now, on the flip side, if you think, hey, it would be nice if somebody cared that I did or didn't show up, then, I mean, that's what we do. If you want someone to coach you, then that's what we do. So we just hosted a CrossFit Level 2 at our gym, CrossFit Level 2 seminar to help. I mean, there was a couple reasons I did it. One of the reasons was I want to elevate the coaching my coaches are able to bring to the members. And one way to do that is to follow the CrossFit methodology and to have them get better or higher CrossFit certification. So the next one is the level 3. I'm not sure if I'm totally bought into that. I'm doing it, so I'll see. So I will clean the toilets, and I ask my coaches, clean the toilets. If I wouldn't do it, I'm not going to tell them to do it. I do everything in there, and I lead by example. At least I try to. If it comes down to emotions and being human, I don't lead by example. I actually turn to my coaches and say, hey, what would you do here? Because I know that I am, as Shane Stewart said, Andy, you're not very good at being human. He didn't say that. He said it jokingly. He didn't, well, I don't know, maybe he was serious. Anyway, so the third question is, do you want to become the hero of your own story? I mean, to me, that should be the leading question. Hey, we want to provide you the tools, tips, techniques, whatever, the coaching, mentoring, and accountability, the people around you, the mindset of happy, humble, helpful, so that you can become the hero of your own story. There's people that I know that say their slogan would be something like, it is only because of us that you have done a better job. And I don't know, that's crap. You could do this anywhere. We want to help you get there. Maybe our method is good for you, maybe not. Anyway, so that's for us. What else do I want to show you? Oh, so also you can, like, if you're watching this, you can look and see, hey, this is basically what a CrossFit gym looks like. We do have Bring a Friend Week coming up starting October 16th. So members, if you've got friends, bring them in. Hopefully I'll put this podcast out before the 16th. If it's during, then oops. I'm never exactly sure when I'm going to post these guys. Okay, so going back to health and these stats. So I'm going to start with death and mortality rates for the U.S. So they said there are 3.4 million deaths. Okay, so 3.4 million. My first thing is every life does matter. And so 3 million or 3.4 million, that sucks. But I think the population of the United States is something like 400 million. So, I don't know, 400 million people, only 3 million, or let's call it 4 million. 4 million deaths. So 400 million. So the 400 million, 10% would be 40 million, 1% would be 4 million. So basically, there's 1% of the U.S. population dies every year. I don't know. That's only 1%. And again, if you're the 1%, totally sucks. If you know the 1%, totally sucks. But as an engineer, I'm thinking, I don't know, sounds like 1% of anything. If you're going to try to like fix your business or fix your marriage or fix anything, 1% is teeny tiny. I mean, I don't know. I think we're doing a pretty good job. So people are living, I think, a good life or a long life. They say the average life expectancy is 76.4 years. I would like to live longer. So I'm 50, so that's 26 years left. So I like Stephen Covey, his start with the end in mind. So knowing that, okay, I probably only, on average, I have 26 years left. Obviously, that's an average, not an average. What would that be? There are people who live past that. And of course, there are people who die. Yeah, it's the average. So people who die before that, and there's people who die much later than that. How does that skew? Well, I guess in order to be 76, you had to make it to 75. So I'm going to say that people who die early never make it to 76. So actually, if you can make it to 76, your chances to make it past 76 are actually probably pretty good because they're adding in everyone who died throughout the year, right? So I guess that number is kind of weird. So the average life expectancy, I mean, that it takes into account a baby that, didn't make it, or a teenager. Like, I'm going to actually go over teenagers. Teenagers, this is crazy. This is stupid. I don't know if that's an S word in this world, but that's stupid. The number 1, 2, and 3 cause of teenager death is teenagers. That's like, basically, if you can, actually, that'd be curious to see how many teenagers die in a year. I wonder how much of this number are teenagers, and they pull the whole number down. Actually, I can look real quick, because I think that's the next thing. It doesn't actually say. Let's see. No, poor health, obesity, smoking, healthcare, mortality. There we go. It's not that many. There was 13,000 teenager deaths in the year. So whatever year this is pulling from. So that's going to skew the number down, but that gives you still 4-ish million people that are dying. Okay, so it doesn't skew it that far bad. Okay. Of course, I wonder if that means how many teenagers are there at the time. Anyway, the first thing that the CDC says, so this is the CDC. I mean, this is weird. I don't always trust them. I will admit that during that 2020 season, when they were saying a lot of things, and I live really close to Atlanta, and I know people that work there. Some of the people that work there said, hey, don't believe what they're putting out. We just have to put it out. So that's weird. And I mean, I like listening to the British because it sounds like their authority, and I like to follow the rules. So, hey, give me a British empire that's taking over the universe. Jedis, watch out. And I'll step in line, apparently, because I like that. So I have issues with this whole thing. I'm using their site, and I would tell you that I don't always believe what they say. These are some statistics they pull together. I don't know if they're right. I can't go out and count this. I got to trust something, so I'm trusting their site. Anyway, so they said I'm going to call it 4 million because it's an easier number for me to do. Of the 4 million deaths, 700,000 were heart disease. Okay, so the first thing we really need to look at is heart disease. Second is cancer with 600,000 deaths. A particular sickness that started occurring more prevalently in 2020, I can't say the word because I know it takes down videos, is 400,000. So I know there's been some was it that? Was it a leading cause? Was it a comorbidity? Was it something else? I don't know. I'm not going to go into that. I'm definitely not a doctor, and I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn Express. Accident, so unintentional. This is crazy. So people accidentally kill themselves 220,000 times. That's just, I accidentally hold my beer. That is baffling to me. They accidentally killed themselves. The fourth leading cause of death is you did it yourself. So I'm going to add in that CrossFit can fix that because we teach the 10 general physical principles of, and I'm gonna butcher this. So Rick, if you're listening, I can't say it like your kids can, but it's I think the biggest one is balance. If you lose your balance, then you're probably doing something stupid. Agility, we teach that. Strength, so maybe somebody doesn't have the strength to lift whatever they thought they could lift, right? Stamina, maybe people were trying to run away from something. I don't know. I would probably say it comes down to knowing your body, kinesthetics, right? And the proprioception, your body in space. So that balance and understanding who you are. I bet you, I would be interested to see the number of deaths on accidental for CrossFitters versus the average population. I think we would get a better sense of your body. So we're jumping and moving and doing all sorts of stuff. Today we've got shuttle runs. So, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that CrossFit's going to help on accidental death. Next one is, so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth is strokes at 160,000. So interesting, the number drops off a lot. I would say I don't know, maybe they don't go together because they didn't listen together, but heart disease is 700,000, stroke is 160,000. Then it drops to respiratory disease, which, so some of these you can kind of lump up, but it's 142,000. And then Alzheimer's, which is something near and dear to me, or near and not dear, or whatever. It's in my family history, so that's 120,000. Diabetes, 100,000. Then it drops off a whole lot and says liver disease and some other words that I can't actually pronounce. So if you were to simply look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, the top 4, let's go for top 5. That's 7. Yeah, so in the top 5, you are like almost 80% of the way of the 3.4 million deaths in America. So you can take care of the top 5, but I told it, hey, give me the top 10. Actually, that's not true because I didn't know what the bottom one was, so I just said whatever. I think it's actually in there because I copy and pasted, but I didn't go into depth on it. Anyway, it said maintain a healthy weight, eat a balanced diet, and exercise regularly. So that's exactly what CrossFit says. Actually, let me pull up what Greg Glassman said, fitness in 100 words. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. Keep intake to the level that will support exercise but not body fat. Okay, that's kind of tricky. Like, what is that? You're going to have to probably work with somebody and count macros and stuff to see and weigh and measure to like figure some of this out, or at least journal so you know what you're doing, right? If you're just eating to eat, then you're not going to know. And if you're gaining weight, well, then you're eating too much, right? Practice and train major lifts, deadlift, clean, squat, press, clean and jerk, snatch. Similarly, master the basics of gymnastics, pull-ups, dips, rope climb, push-ups, sit-ups, presses to handstands, pirouettes, flips, splits, and holds. Bike, run, swim, row, etc. hard and fast. So that is a key right there. So he's basically saying all these different modalities, do it hard and fast. Long and slow is not going to have the same effects to your health, weirdly, as hard and fast. So interval training or CrossFit, it really rolls in the 10-minute workout with intensity. That's a secret in the sauce. Okay, some more. 5 or 6 days per week. Mix these elements in as many combinations and patterns as creativity will allow. Routine is the enemy. Keep workouts short and intense. Regularly learn and play new sports. So I like the part at the very end. His culmination, his pyramid is play new sports is the top of it. And I think that's going to help with the gray matter, especially with that Alzheimer's. But anyway, that's CrossFit in a nutshell. CrossFit is constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity, right? It constantly varied, right there. Functional movements, things we do every day, executed at high intensity. That's what we do in CrossFit. The reason why, okay, I think a question might be, why does CrossFit cost so much? It's because you have a coach. So if you look at your kid's soccer team or karate, you're paying probably $200 a month for them to go twice a week. This is basically $200 a month, and you can come. Well, I guess you could come 7 days a week. I don't know if I would do that. If I did, it would be some like 2 of the days would be intentional recovery, stretching, mobility days with very low impact. You got to have some sort of rest in there. Okay, so that's CrossFit. Yeah. So the answer, the fix, the I'm done. You're done listening is do CrossFit. Join a gym anywhere. Join our gym. That would be great if you're in Woodstock. In Woodstock, there are so many gyms because I think we started in 2008 and we just kept popping gyms off of us unintentionally. And yes, I was mad about that at the beginning, but over time, I'm like, you know what? There's like a billion people in Woodstock. We can have more gyms. The problem isn't the number of CrossFit gyms. The problem is we need to educate people that they should be doing something. So that's the scarcity mindset versus the abundancy mindset. So I am a firm believer now of the abundancy mindset. It took me 50 years, well, almost. I'm not 50 yet, but pretty close to get there. Okay, so let me go back to these facts. Okay. I guess I should have asked. Let me type that in. I'm going to pause you guys and type this in. All right, I love it. ChatGPT is just writing up some stuff, and it's funny because you can almost read it in the tone of, you idiot. That's exactly what CrossFit is. So I just asked it, what is CrossFit? It defined it. I said, what does CrossFit define fitness as? It defined it. I said, what does CrossFit say fitness is in 100 words? And it threw it out there. And I said, based on this and your 3 things that you said are the top 3 things you would need to do to affect your health and fitness, or not your health and fitness, the leading causes of death in America, it said, yes, you should do CrossFit. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I'm biased to that answer. So I love ChatGPT. Anyway, so the answer is yes, do these things. And let me see if I can pull out some nuggets that it said. So maintain a healthy weight. CrossFit workouts are high intensity and can be effective for burning calories, promoting weight loss, or weight maintenance, depending on your goals. Okay, so I'm going to add in there, as you build muscle, you will burn calories even when you're not doing anything. So that's one of the secrets of those who have muscle and why they look maybe more ripped is they don't need to, they will eat in a particular amount. That's always key. But even when they're sleeping, they're burning some calories. All right. Eat a balanced diet. CrossFit often promotes a balanced approach to nutrition that aligns with the principles of healthy diet, focusing on whole foods, lean proteins, vegetables, and quality carbohydrates. CrossFit gyms may provide nutritional guidance and support to help members make better food choices. That is true. In fact, CrossFit Garage does have a nutrition coach, Coach Laura. So we do that. So I love this. Hey, thank you, ChatGPT. Exercise regularly. CrossFit encourages regular exercise through its structured workout program. So it's constantly varied, not random. Which is a great podcast, varied, not random. Anyway, participants typically engage in CrossFit workouts several times a week. That is true. The intensity of CrossFit workouts can improve the cardiovascular fitness, strength, and overall physical conditioning. Okay, so it does give a little warning there. Hey, it may not be suitable for everybody. I like that. Nice little asterisk, buddy. Let's see if there's any other cool bits in there I can pull out for you. Let me pause you. Okay, so early on I had asked it, give me the 3 things that you could do that would kind of help all of these leading causes of death. And it said, maintain a healthy weight. So this is what it's throwing out there. This step is a common denominator in the prevention of several health issues, including diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and obesity-related conditions. maintain a healthy weight. Eat a balanced diet. Consuming a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats is a great strategy for preventing diabetes, heart disease, stroke, even cognitive decline, which would be the Alzheimer's, right? Let's see. Exercise regularly. Regular exercise or regular physical activity is consistently emphasized. Oh, that's interesting. So it is true, actually, in every one of them. I think this was number one. It was in the list for everyone. So it is consistently emphasized as a key step in preventing multiple health issues, including diabetes, heart disease, stroke, obesity conditions, cardiovascular, let's see, insulin. Okay. So anyway, basically, the cheat, the hack for getting yourself off this lift and getting past 76.4 years is just join a CrossFit gym and do what they say. It is that simple. It is probably going to be the best money you ever spent. I mean, some of you guys take a lot of pills and drugs and go see the doctor a lot. I spend $0 on any of that stuff. Actually, I take that back. You can look at my nose right here. I just went to the dermatologist. I don't have a can of freeze spray, and my dad does have a lot of melanomas dug off. So I go to that doctor quite a bit. This last time, he's like, I don't see anything wrong. I was like, hey, what about my nose? He's like, do you feel like it's a thing? I'm like, I don't. Do you? And he's like, not really. And he's like, whatever. I'm going to spray you. Again, I'm self-pay, so he doesn't spray very often, but he got me good. 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one on my ear. But, okay, so I am going to tell you how enemas make a play in here eventually, but hopefully I don't forget. I do have let me go back to my list of the things I was going to talk about. Okay, so I got that up. I will come back to it. The mortality rates for teenagers. This is super sad, and I'm not meaning to make light of it, but it is just dumb and it's sad. So the leading cause of teenagers' death, 15 to 19, is accidents, unintentional injuries, homicide, so somebody else did it to them, probably another teenager, and then suicide. They did something to themselves. Again, it's only 13,400, but when it's your 13,400, it totally sucks, right? Everything means a lot when you know the person that it's happening to. So, accidental injury, I mean, they're teenagers, right? Who hasn't been a teenager? Well, I guess if any kids listen to this, thank you. But the teenager years, you're invincible and stupid, and it's a great combination for unintentional injury. Homicide, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with mindset. Like, don't shoot somebody, don't stab somebody, don't run somebody over. Have a better mindset. Glass is half full. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a mindset thing. Suicide, I'm gonna go with the mindset thing too, right? There's something going on. And when I say mindset, I mean it's anything in here, maybe in the heart, but it's something that Jamie would help with her business. Not necessarily. Hey, you should be physically fit. Although I will say that many times when I do this podcast and interview members, one of the things they say is the clarity of mind, the relief to the mind, the healthy mind, those sort of things. And it's about their mind and their mindset and their spirit. They're just enjoying their time that they're here. So I don't know, maybe getting to a CrossFit gym could help those things because of that mind component. All right. Let me move on. So this is older people. This is what I said senior citizen. They picked it out 65. I'm like, all right. So this data on their site from the CDC comes from 2002. I don't know why it's so old, but that's what it pulled up. It's the same stuff, though. It's heart disease, cancer, stroke. So those are the top ones. 31% is heart disease. Cancer is 21%. So 50% is heart disease and cancer, which we already went through that. Literally joining a CrossFit gym and subscribing to their model of health and fitness would solve these things. So it's a no-brainer to me. Leading causes of death globally. Oh man, there's an interesting word there. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna pause you guys again and research this word. Okay, they tricked me. They just described it a bit better. So it's heart disease, and it's just restricted blood flow to the heart. So I'm not even gonna say it. I can't do it. Next one is stroke. Then again, pulmonary disease. So I'm going to say I see what they did. One is blood flow into the heart and the other is constricted vessels. So that's interesting. So they kind of split those out. If they just said heart disease, it would probably jump way higher. But 1, 2, and 3, heart disease, stroke, and pulmonary disease or heart disease is about 50% of the number. And then it goes back to respiratory infection, neonatal conditions. Oh, that's interesting. That wasn't on there before. And then some lung diseases. Alzheimer's is back up there. Diarrhea, so that's going to be water. And then diabetes and kidney disease. Okay. Let's see. Where did I want to go with this? Okay, so here is a take on 2020 and some things that we do in our household. I'm hoping the world doesn't go crazy again. I'm definitely not shutting down my business. We will fight the power, but here in Woodstock, I don't think it'd be much of a fight. I think we were down for maybe a month. As I said, my neighbor called the police on me because we were still open, but I read all of the governor's edicts, I don't know what you call them, and followed them exactly, and never got in trouble, even had the police come over or call me, and they're like, yeah, no, you're actually doing exactly what it says. So I know that friends turn in friends or enemies turn in enemies. It is crazy how fast the people turn on each other. It is nuts. So one thing, man, guys love each other. Stop being such buttheads. I think politically speaking, I am probably leaning towards libertarian or a whole lot towards maybe anarchist. So my personal belief is I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't impact me. And if you start forcing me to do something, I'm going to come impact you. So do what you want to do. I don't care if you want to get syringes and things injected. Man, whatever, go for it. The moment you say I have to do something like that, man, we have a problem. I never tell somebody you have to come CrossFit. I mean, that would actually solve a lot of the problems, but I don't force them into it. We offer suggestions, we offer ideas, but do what you want to do, right? I live out more in the country, so I can shoot guns if I want to. Somebody hears me shoot a gun and they're like, you need to stop doing that, and they come after me, well, then I will come back after you. Do your own thing on your own property. I don't care. Smoke pot in your house, whatever. I will say that if you're harming children, yeah, you're crossing some lines that I don't get. Why someone would do that, but some people are just jerks, and I don't know. I think there needs to be a certain level of bullying in the world, because otherwise you get outside of some like extremes. Like I am definitely not okay with the idea of minor attracted person. That's I mean, even when someone like that, a pedophile, goes to jail, criminals usually off them, which I don't know. I feel like it's wrong, but right. What is that, right? I that is a definite hard no, and don't ever admit to that sort of stuff in front of me, because there will be some trouble. So there are some lines for sure, and I'll totally admit I'm a hypocrite, and I don't understand why. You're gonna have to challenge me in some of my views. I'm okay with that. I would love to talk to people about their views. Just don't make me follow your views if I don't want to, right? And I may not have a good reason for my views yet, but I'll think on them. At 50, I feel pretty damn confident in who I am and who I will or won't be, right? So at 18, I get it. Everyone should believe the way you believe, because you're just, well, I mean, the majority of ways you will die is stupidity. So I don't know, call it more of what it is. Okay, so do whatever you want. I don't care. So here in Woodstock, when things were kind of getting shut down, not everything was really shut down. You could go to a lot of places and not wear something over your face, and nobody really cared. Sometimes people would eyeball you, sometimes not. But I would say more than usual, nothing was happening or done or cared. And if you went closer towards Roswell, then yeah, people got a little bit more sticky or stickler for, hey, you got to put something on or whatever. But out here in Woodstock, not so much. I actually went to Canyons. Man, it was, I guess they had just opened back up. So I don't know when that was. And we ordered some food, and I don't even remember who we were with, but it was two families, mine and somebody else's. It was over the summer, so I had to, I guess the schools weren't really open back then either. I don't know. Anyway, Canyons was open, and it's a burger joint basically in downtown Woodstock, and we had food, and whoever it was reached over and grabbed food right off my plate and ate it, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So, and that was right in the middle of this. So I know there are people listening all over the world. Most of the people are here in Georgia. some of you guys in Georgia don't even know what was going on here in Woodstock. If you didn't live in Atlanta, I think you had a similar experience where stuff wasn't really all that impacted. To some degree it was. Businesses, especially small businesses, were, but I think in general the people's mindset was like, really? Are you sure? So I would just encourage everyone to use wisdom and compassion, and man, if somebody wants to put something over their face, go ahead and let them, whatever, that's their deal, I don't care. And if they don't want to, man, that's their deal too. So don't, right? The gym will always stay open, even if people are feeling sick. I mean, do the smart thing. If you feel not great, don't go to the gym. Or do. I don't really care. I barely ever get sick. The worst sick I ever was January of 2020. I went down for about 5 days. And of course, you probably all know what that was at the time. But back then we didn't. There wasn't really a thing yet. It was like, you got the flu, you got whatever. Not a big deal. 5 days-ish, so I don't know, maybe 3 days of bad, 2 days on the each end. I was like, I don't feel so great. And then back out of it. And that's it. And I really don't ever get sick. I think I was sick again. I lost my taste and didn't feel so great and had an adventure race coming up, so I skipped the race because I just figured it'd be kind of dumb to race feeling a little sick. And I think that's it. So yeah, I barely ever get sick. I don't eat sugar. I eat really healthy, and I do CrossFit almost every day. So I don't know. It sounds like the thing that ChatGPT spit out, basically do CrossFit, and the things that will kill you and make you sick. It sounds like doing CrossFit and eating healthy actually works. So following this mindset and this idea. Okay. So I also said what do I want to tell you about? I guess my idea for some of you guys living out in the extremes or other places where there was a lot of throttling of your abilities and freedoms. 1, take a deep breath. 2, don't turn your neighbors in. Love your neighbor. 3, the man in power isn't always right. Sometimes they have an agenda. And I think I just believe that a lot. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do think that they are very well spoken, and they will tell you things. I mean, it happens all the time. That's fine. Oh, it turns out it kills you. My bad. So just be careful. Do your research. Actually, let me back up with a story. So we do not do shots at all, ever, period. My wife, family in England, has issues with weird allergies. Enough so that one of them, we were out eating and she said, hey, I can't do egg. And they're like, oh, there's no egg in this. She's like, yeah, but do you brush the top of your muffin or bun or whatever it was with egg white to glaze it so it gives it that sheen? And I'm like, I've never even heard of that. And they're like, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. And she's like, I bet you do. Everybody does. She's like, fine, bring it out. I'll eat it. And she had her EpiPen, whatever, ready to go. And apparently it was something like, took a bite of it, flared up, and they're like, oh my gosh. And she's like, bomb, or whatever. She was okay. But really bad egg allergies, as well as other mold, dust, and stuff. So at the time, 21 years ago, we had Olivia. And the internet's just becoming a thing, and I'm doing some research, like, hey, how to be a good dad, what do you do, all this and that. And so I'm reading up, and I'm like, okay, we have to go to a doctor's checkup. What do we want to check up? Okay, this is what they're going to do. I'm trying to make myself aware, and they're like, all right, they're going to give her some shots. I'm like, well, what is it and why, and what are we doing? She lives in the house. She doesn't see anybody. I don't really see the need for it, but let me read through this. So she does, and we go home, and she reacts. I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. Let me do some research. Why is she reacting? What is up? And so I read most of the, I don't know if I can say the word without getting banned, so I'm not going to. It starts with a V, and most of those drugs that starts with a V are incubated in a chicken embryo, and then they extract it and do their thing. So there is high allergy to egg, chicken embryo, in the family. So it's like, hey, we went to the doctor. It was in Roswell pediatrician. The guy's name was Dr. Roy. And I was like, hey, Dr. Roy, last time we got shots, Olivia got a rash and broke out and stuff and things. And I said, this is what's occurring. I did some research, and apparently if you have egg allergy, you shouldn't do these shots. And at the time, Olivia only drank or ate breast milk because she was a tiny baby. And so I didn't understand that there was this huge fight going on. I mean, seriously, how old was I? 23? What 23-year-old man really understands anything about a family and life and marriage and kids and any of that? We're holding on by the seat of our pants, right? Maybe I wasn't 23. How old was I? I don't know. I was like 25. Even now at 50, I'm mostly stupid. So the doctor goes, hey, if you're going to be one of those people, you can just leave. I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand what's happening. So my ignorance of stepping into a battle that I didn't even know exists, told by a doctor that uses like a really nice baby kid voice, then twirled on me and was like, if you're going to be like that, you can just get out. I'm like, wait, I don't even understand what's happening. I'm just asking a question that it says in its own pamphlet. When you unfold that stuff and it says, if you have egg allergies, don't do this. So I'm like, you know what? Screw you. We're out. And so that was really the last time we really went to the doctors. We as a family, don't really go that much. And thank you, Dr. Roy, for putting us on that path. We do other things like we use a lot of essential oils. And weirdly, that stuff works. My wife has this thing she calls mug-a-nasty. So when you get a respiratory infection or sinus infection, she takes some oils, and I'm going to mess this up, but it's something like oregano, pepper. I know oregano, if you guys do that, you know it's already burning. Oregano, pepper, and maybe On Guard, I think. Anyway, you put it into a hot boiling water and let it, and you breathe this stuff up. If you want the exact recipe, email me, andy@crossfitgarage.com. I'll ask my wife and I'll send it out. It's mug-a-nasty, or if I can remember, I'll put it in the show notes, but I'd have to re-listen to this again. I don't usually re-listen to my own podcasts. Well, the ones that I do on my own. I always listen to the guests because I want to put in all the stuff in the show notes. Anyway, so we do a lot of essential oils. We didn't find that early on. What we started with was Bread Becker's. Actually, let me go find her again. So we started using Bread Becker's, making freshly ground grain, and it cleans you out and got you like sorted and okay. So it was a great first step into, let's do something about the food. Like we talk about this, fitness, food, and finances. Do something about your food. Know your food. So we were getting closer to our food source, and that's Bread Becker's here in Woodstock, Georgia. They basically teach you how to take real little grains that come off the wheat stem and grind it up and then make bread out of it. And you're like, wow, this is some of the best stuff ever. Anyway, so it was a weird way to use food to actually get into your health, which of course then started us down the road of, wait a minute. So what you're saying is the burger I'm eating out isn't probably a great burger. I should probably, and then you start looking at all your food and going, oh my gosh, should I pay twice, 4 times, 10 times as much for something that was organic or something that was grass-fed or something that was free-ranged? And I totally get it. Having chickens that are free-ranged, every egg we have is probably a $20 egg, because to let them live free and eat what they want to eat, which is usually like crickets and insects and stuff, they get taken by predators a lot. The eagles do not care that this is my property and these are my chickens, and and I have told them stay away. Stop you, hawk! Please stay away from my chickens. Weirdly, they don't listen. They just swoop in and take what they want. So it's weird. I know another entity that swoops in and takes whatever it wants, and if you don't give it its stuff, then you go to jail. So I tell everyone at the gym I can kip anything, and I make a joke that I can kip my taxes. Never kip your taxes. Pay the man what's due, even if you disagree. Because jail is, or club fed, as they say, is a harsh place. Anyway, so that put us down a weird, I'm not a big fan of doctors anymore. Thank you, Dr. Roy. I started doing CrossFit eventually. The kids have been super healthy. Verity has come up with a lot of interesting things to do to help create better health and hygiene in our house. So one thing she did that really helped us out was, hey, when you get home, take off those school clothes, put on play clothes, and I'll basically do the wash. Having 4 kids, you can always make an easy load. Whoosh, they go in. So that helped out a whole lot. So the other one, okay, so I mentioned the enema and I never really got into the story of it. Okay, so Olivia, I think it was Olivia, was probably 6 months old. And we lived next to my brother, like literally right next to him. And they have older kids. and she had a 100-degree fever, then 101, then 102, 103, 104, 105. Maybe she wasn't 6 months because I've already kind of sworn off the hospitals and doctors just because that guy was such a butthead. And I think she had like 104-degree temperature, maybe bumping into 105. And I know now you're getting into crap. As a parent, I will do anything to make sure my kid is going to be okay, even break my own rules and vows or whatever. Take me to your leader. So I went across the street, said, hey, what do you guys do when a kid has a fever? Help me. I was frantic. They're like, so what I do is I take this little baby enema, and there's this little teeny one, maybe the size of your thumb, and you put it in the back and you go squeeze, put them over the toilet because they're going to crap. And so you put a little enema in there and let it crap out. And so we did that and had her on the toilet, holding her kind of an awkward, weird, whatever. And weirdly, amazingly, or coincidentally, or logically and on purpose, I don't know. But when something works, you're like, hey, that seemed to work. Her temperature dropped. She evacuated all of the stuff that was inside of her, mostly, breast milk. And maybe it was food at that point. I don't know. But within an hour, her temperature had already dropped down to like 102. My facts on this story are going to be off. I just know that her temperature was up. We were super scared. They said, do an enema. I said, what is that? Fine, give it to me. Ran it back in the house. I think it was also like 2 a.m. So it was just a weird timing. Within an hour, her temperature had dropped. And the next day, she was smiles and giggles. And well, I don't know, smiles and giggles. Does a baby ever really get like that? So she was normal. I'm like, okay, there's some validity to this idea of an enema. And so I did a lot of research. And man, the research was crappy. Pun intended. And we used it in our family. We still use it today. If somebody gets super sick, I know you're thinking, do you really? My kids don't. They're like, Dad, get away from me. But if somebody says, Dad, I don't feel good. I'm going to school. I'm like, okay, great, enema time. And they're like, Dad, guess what? I'm going to school. So it does help them go to school. Or they're like, you know what? How about this? I'll do the mug and nasty and go to bed early, and we'll see how I feel in the morning. And amazingly, they all feel okay, right? So, but when they were kids, when they didn't really have a choice, we did do that a lot. Well, a lot. We did it whenever someone said, hey, I have a stomach sickness, I have a fever, I've got weird bowels, I've got whatever. So obviously, maybe a broken arm is not going to really work for it, but so if you go to Publix and you go to the medicine aisle, there is a section that has enemas, and you just buy a pack of them. And man, it is the craziest thing. That stuff works to get junk out of you. Because, I mean, really, what is your downstairs thing trying to do? Expel the toxins that it doesn't want. So take everything that wasn't nutrition, let's get it out. So your mucus is an attempt to get rid of whatever it is. Your coughing is an attempt to push it out, right? So you have all these things trying to push it out. Also, it rehydrates you a little bit, whatever. So, yeah, weirdly, we use it. I still use it. I haven't really been sick in a while, so I haven't had to do it in a while. But, was I sick? I can't actually remember a time when I was sick. But we do. There's nothing magical about it. It's water going in your rear end. You hold it for as long as you can. You sit on the toilet. Hopefully you're on the toilet. And then it all comes out as well as every other thing. So it works. You know how much it costs? It's like $5 for a pack of 4. So it's cheap and it works. Why the hell would you not use it or give it a try? So if you're a type of person out there that does do essential oils or bread crackers, add enema into it and give it a shot. You can probably, as gross, I don't actually want YouTube to track it, but as gross as it would be, you could probably go on YouTube and see exactly how to do it. There are instructions on it. Again, if you're one of my children's friends and you're listening, they don't do it now. They are embarrassed that we do it. And they're like, Dad, don't ever mention that or talk about it. But I swear it's healthy. And I guarantee you, let's see, in 10 years, I'll probably have a grandkid. And I bet you they're asking me, Dad, how did you do that again? Because it worked. And when you find something that works, like CrossFit, do it. Stick with it, right? CrossFit is cheap. It's super cheap compared to the actual issues that you would run through. Let me see what those issues are again. So heart disease, super sucky and you die. Cancer, super sucky and you die. The other thing that I can't say out loud, super sucky, and you possibly, I don't know about it anymore. Accidents and injuries, yes, you would probably have better balance, and so it's great to have that balance and not have an accident and die. Strokes, yes, this actually helps your heart. So do CrossFit and don't have a stroke and lose, well, that's not your heart. I guess that's blood clots and stuff, right? Don't get paralyzed in the side. So yes, I am sort of making light of it. It's my backup mode. I said I don't force people to do anything. I am an anarchist or libertarian or whatever you want to call it. But I do believe in doing the right thing for yourself. Just like I wouldn't put diesel in my gas-driven car. Why do I put this junk in me, right? I would do the right thing. It says on my car, hey, get the oil changed every 3,000 or 6,000 miles, whatever type of oil you're using. Why not use CrossFit and use its fitness in 100 words, right? So constantly very functional movements executed at high intensity. I have a coach that leads me along. Why is it expensive? Why is it $200? Because you have a coach giving you personal attention. Right? Without the coach, you could do this at home. Are you doing it right? I don't know. Is that better than nothing? Yes. I was on Sue's podcast for the Breadbeckers. I've had multiple people email in and say, hey, can I get that 32 workouts at home? I'm like, yeah, sure, here you go. I've had multiple of them call me and they're like, hey, can I get it? I'm like, sure. I have a gym at my home. Great. A question they come up with is, I don't know if I'm actually doing stuff right. I'm like, just video yourself and then compare it to a video on YouTube. Or video yourself and send it to me. I'll give you some advice. Guys, it's not rocket science and it doesn't have to be hard. But it is irritating. Yeah, I got to go to the gym almost every day. Yes. But for a CrossFit gym, you literally just show up and the coaches will say, hey, guys, come here. This is what we're doing today. And they're going to walk you through everything. Even ChatGPT agrees that, actually, CrossFit does hit the top 3 things. Actually, what are the other things that it said? Let me scroll back up real quick in here and see if there was anything that was like, oh, that's fascinating and out of the ordinary. All right, so, oh, actually, this was interesting. You guys might like this. Let me go back up there. All righty. So, I got to scroll to the right place. There's too much. I put a lot of stuff into him. Okay, so it said, okay, here's the top killers of people. And then, okay, the risk of cancer. So it says, eat better, watch your weight, stay active, don't smoke, limit your alcohol, protect your skin, get screening, be mindful of family history. So, that's pretty wise advice, right? What about strokes? Control your blood pressure, which obviously exercise does. Maintain a healthy diet, stay active, manage any chronic health conditions. I don't know, that would kind of go without saying. Don't smoke. So smoking and alcohol are on there, but not as much as exercise and eating, right? Control your weight, be mindful of your heart rhythms, which I don't know how you exactly do that. I guess you could wear a one of those wearable things. Manage your stress, and know the warning signs. Respiratory, avoid smoking. Stay away from hazardous materials. That's a great one. Have good air quality. Practice good hygiene. Exercise regular. Stay hydrated. Eat a good diet. Let's see. What's this one right here? Alzheimer's. Stay mentally active. Man, neurological adaptation and the things we do in CrossFit, that's great. So pat your stomach, pat your head, rub your stomach, all those sort of things. Social connections. I find this to be pretty fascinating that social connections, which a CrossFit gym is going to have, is high up on the list here for Alzheimer's. So I think it's that you're creating those pathways, and when you talk to people, it's super interactive. It's not just mind-numbing watching TV. Have a good diet, exercise regularly, manage chronic conditions, get good sleep. This is the only one that said it. I would have put sleep higher up there, but whatever. Stay hydrated, manage stress, protect your head. That's that is a beautiful one, right? What is this next one here? Is preventing diabetes, maintain a healthy weight, eat a balanced diet, portion control, watch your carbohydrates, exercise regularly, do some strength training. That's CrossFit again, right? All this stuff. Monitor your blood sugar. I don't know if you really need to do that if you're not diabetic, but if you are, then obviously you want to monitor that. They talk about stress and sleep quality, hydration, smoking and alcohol is in there again. So that's good stuff. Anyway, guys, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be impossible. It just takes your time and effort. And if you say to yourself, I don't have time or effort, then you're lying to yourself. You always do. You can wake up a little earlier, go to sleep a little bit later. You can even do this stuff at home. If you need help, I am here for you. Andy McCann, CrossFit Garage. You can find me on the main 2 socials or our website, or hit me, Andy at CrossFitGarage.com. Guys, I love you and I want you to live a long life. And weirdly, doing CrossFit is going to cover like 99% of the things you need to do to avoid these top 10 leading causes of death in the U.S. All right, guys, you be good. Take care.